I'm focusing on connection. So it's just really cool that I'm here connecting with you guys, because this has been where that is what my journey is right now. It is, when she said talk about your journey, all I could think of was where I am at this particular moment. It's led us all here in this particular moment. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. And I'm obsessed with connection right now, and I'm obsessed with the moment and the now, and living here in the now, and what that can mean to us. And to talk to you guys in a setting based on love, which is not really about a partner. It's about loving ourselves, and it's about loving our children, and it's about, loving our friends, our gals, that's where I am right now. I'm single right now. I don't have any love prospects, and Valentine's Day would have been my 10-year wedding anniversary. No, don't all. Not like that. It's all fine. And but that's what I want to talk about a little bit. So I've done some things, and I'll just give you a quick debriefing, because this isn't really about what I've done. But I started doing music right before I turned 40. It was kind of just something that came my way that I said yes to, and I didn't know it was going to take over my life the way it did. I've written and recorded several albums now, and I'm 47. Last year I published my first novel and my first children's book, which was a huge endeavor. Took years. And I have 2 children, 2 girls that are 14 and 10. So I think a lot about what I'm modeling to my children all the time. But I wanted to talk about this real journey, the moment, and the journey that's inside, and our spirit and our real life, and the day-to-day, because I think when it comes down to it, that's where our hearts are, loving ourselves and our partners and our kids, and appreciating the moments, and not wishing we were somewhere else or hoping for something else. Even though I'm very goal-oriented, I think that it is about appreciating the moments. So how do we balance those things with the goals and appreciating the moments? So whatever is being presented and whatever's unfolding at this present moment, which right now, here's us, right, is what it's about. And how can I show up and make it the best it can possibly be? That's where I'm struggling, right? That's what I'm working on right now. Maybe it's not a struggle, but it is work. When I got my first divorce, this is my second. So anyway, when I got my first, I had 1 kid, and I found myself in moments where I was not only feeling guilty for leaving him, but I was feeling guilty because I was away from my child, and she was little. So when she wasn't with me, I felt guilty for being away because I'm her mom. And then when she was with me, she was a toddler, and I was fucking stressed out because toddlers are stressful. And I had to stop myself then and say, this is out of whack, and how do I flip those? How do I appreciate and take care of myself in the moments where I'm by myself? And then how do I really find that balance where I enjoy my time with her and don't feel stressed? And it was a hard place to get to, but just recognizing when we're in those spaces, I think, is a win, because then we're like, all right, something's out of whack and I've got to fix it, right? And I've noticed the same thing now, just in the last few months, with myself being single. I've been single for 2 years now, and had, dated a bit. And someone sent me a podcast the other day, and it was about intimacy and love. And it triggered me so much, I just started crying. And I was like, I don't have this with any, I don't have this. And I just felt that lack, that just overwhelming sense of this sucks, I suck. My self-talk started in my head. And I had to really take stock and look at that and take a breath and think about that same thing that I felt with my kid. How do I notice that this is what's unfolding for me right now? I got invited to a Galentine's event, right, with wine and the goodie bags and beautiful, wonderful, strong women that show up, and that's what I need to be appreciating. That's the moment that's unfolding in front of me right now, right?
Yes.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Right. So my whole message, with the Rock Your Life stuff, because I did rock and roll, is about transformation and habits. It's about rocking your life and your goals, and I feel like I'm just learning how to take those goals and also let that mean letting go and allowing those moments to unfold without pushing for our own desires. and that resistance, because we never really know what's to come. I don't know. I mean, you may connect with someone tonight that changes your whole life, right? We don't know. Hanging on to like an old relationship, like maybe I was in my old marriage and pushing for it to work out, or pushing resistance, like finding that resistance, and like resistance after resistance might mean that I'm fighting what is actually supposed to be unfolding for me, which is probably learning about my own self-love, probably connecting with my gals or my kids, right, in those moments. So what does that look like if we're working toward our goals? Like, what does that look like in the now? That's what I've been trying to figure out. How do we reconcile that, right? So I can tell you what it doesn't look like. It doesn't look like anxiety or worry about the future or depression about the past. That's not dwelling in the moment. I read something the other day that just said, like, you've never failed in that moment. Like, in the right now, this breath, like, you've never failed. You've actually done it every single time. So it might look like action in the direction that aligns with our path or our dreams, like making that choice. So it doesn't look like resistance to the moment. And that's what I was experiencing, recently as a single woman. I was just resisting what was actually unfolding in front of me, wishing for a partner, wishing for intimacy that wasn't there, rather than enjoying what's good right in the now. So I had a podcast before this Rock Your Life show has come along, and it was something that just unfolded naturally. They were like, oh, we're going to start a podcast station. We need beta testers. Will you do one? And I was like, sure. So I did. I jumped in and did it because I have a radio background. And as the years went by, I realized it was a push. It was a struggle, and it was hard, and my vision wasn't clear on it, and I finally, my pride was hanging in there, but I was finally like, I have to end this. And I guess I just felt like I was accepting that, okay, maybe I've learned what I need to learn here, whatever that is, and swallow my pride and then open on up to whatever can be. And sure enough, like within 6 months, I happened to mention to my boss, oh, well, my dream is this Rock Your Life, whatever. And I have a dream of having it on Sirius XM someday and whatever. And he was like, well, why don't you just do it now? And I was like, okay, all right. And so I did. And I was so surprised that it just unfolded that way really naturally. And it wasn't exactly the path that I foresaw. And that's okay. So what, right? So what, when we're open to those things, I didn't even know what I was really doing with it when he said that, but instead of letting that worry about the future get the best of me, I just was like, all right, I'm going to take the steps and figure it out and take baby steps, because nobody really cares. Everybody's wrapped up in their own life anyway, so as long as I just keep taking the steps and figuring it out, then okay, if it keeps flowing, right? So I just guess that my overall big point is this. I could never have predicted where I am right now. And my dreams and goals were very, very different before I started any of this or any journey. And I'm sure with you too. Like everything, just we could never have predicted. So when something appeared in my path, I did the best I could with what was unfolding. And I've worked to trust that I will learn the things that I'm supposed to be learning. So if this is my path, then I accept it. And I accept the moments put in front of me, like right now. And I believe in transformation. I believe in our power to make change and follow our dreams, 100%. But I also think that there may be things in store that we can never imagine. And if we let go, if we stop pushing, if we stay open and keep our hearts open and don't let those disturbances get in there, that's a taller order than it sounds like, I know. But if we can find the way to surrender and learn from the moment, then life has a transformative power to lead us in bold new directions and take us on journeys that we never imagined.